Hi everyone, thanks for checking another InfoSec Hub video, and today we're going to talk about the CISM exam or the Q&A database. As you can see on my screen, just 2 days ago I have granted access to this database. I just finished a 4-day training in CISM, very interesting, through a training center here in the Netherlands. Well recommended, I would say, if you want to further your career within InfoSec, especially on the management side of things, and if you have more of a process-oriented background, just like myself. However, CISM also focuses more on technical implementations as well, that you know some of the concepts. If you want to know more about information security concepts, I also suggest you check around this channel. I try to explain it in the way I see fit. I have interest for the technique and technical implementations and solutions. I do, but I'm not a technical guy, so that's a good thing to remind yourself when you're watching this. What I'm gonna do now, without too much introduction, this is the first video of a video series. Hopefully by the end of the year or early next year, I want to become CISM certified. So just what I did with the CompTIA Security Plus examinations, I will go over some of the questions and then I can explain it a bit. So as I learn, I can also show you, I take you with me on this learning journey. That's the whole idea behind this video series. And yeah, hopefully you learn something as well. And if you want to debate or have, different insights, please let me know in the comment section. This channel is getting bigger, but it's still small by all means. InfoSec is still kind of a niche, so I don't expect it to grow that much. But who knows? Maybe CISM attracts more traffic. We're going to see. Without further ado, let's just access this database. It's a Q&A database, so questions, answers will be in there. And I will show you. Let's see. So we are going to do some practice. And we are going to start with the organizational culture. I'm watching this way because my screen is there, but you can still see me here. So let's go in here. Let's see, practice, see if I can give you an overview, and otherwise we just start. So this is the official website. Normally you have to pay for this, because when I'm checking online, it's very difficult to find the Q&A, and this is what I have access now. So this is a perfect example for me to make videos about. So we go through all of this. So the governance is part of CISM. Then we have risk management. We have the information security program, and we have incident management. The information security program, let's see, can we find it over here? No. This one is big on the exam when it comes to points, and also incident management is big. Governance is not that big points wise on the exam. Hopefully I can show you an overview later of how that works. But without further ado, let's just go into this. So there are 30 to 60 minutes, so this video will be almost that long. And we're just gonna bring you along while I study and I show you what's happening. Anything else I can show you? No. No. So let's just dive in here. Get started. So which of the following choices is the most likely cause of significant inconsistencies in system configurations? Lack of procedure, inadequate governance, poor standards, inefficient training. So configuration files of systems. Let's see, I would say procedures, because I'm thinking system hardening and having a baseline for configurations. So let's check, and this is not correct. So, but why is it not correct? Government. So of course, this is the governance part. So I should have think like, okay, this should be about governance. That's how you should think. But a lack of proper procedures in a failing of governance and may be cause of significant inconsistencies in system configurations. However, this is not most likely. Governance takes precedence as it has to be set in place to ensure proper procedures. Okay, so governance is always first governance and then you have baselines, I suspect. So governance include a set of rules. You see, the enterprise operates by oversight to ensure compliance and feedback mechanisms that provide assurance the rules are followed. So governance rules. So when it comes about configuration, we have within the governance we have system configuration policies or security baselines. So governance, that's inadequate governance. So let's move on. An information security manager must understand the relationship between information security and business operations in order to support operational objectives, determine likely areas of non-compliant access, possible impact, compromise, understand threats to business. I would say D, because that threats to the business. The goal of a business is to excel in the field that they operate and to make profits. That's the business goal. And the goal of an information security manager is to minimize risks, mitigate risks, lower risks, or accept risks. So I think it's D. Not correct. You see, I have a certain background in information security and CISM thinks in a different way. And that's why it's so nice to have this Q&A database so we can learn a bit more. It is A, and why is it A? Support organizational objectives. So it's about almost the same as D, right? But it is A. Security exists to provide a level of predictability for operations and support the activities of the enterprise, and to ensure preservations of the enterprise. Business operations must be the driver for security activities in order to set meaningful objectives, determine and manage the risk to enterprise activities, and provide a basis to provide guidance for the security program and measure its effectiveness. Okay, I see. Support organizational objectives, and one of the organizational objectives is in the security program. The security program is your approach for information security of the whole entire business. And of course that must align with business operations. I said D, it is necessary to understand the business goals in order to evaluate threats. That was my way of thinking. But this is just one way in which security supports organizational objectives. So yes, it is somewhat good, but A is the complete answer. Guys, I just finished a 4-day training. Does that mean I didn't learn anything? No, I learned a lot. But based on my experience in the field, I would have chosen D. Because you want to understand the business and what is important to the business and what's most critical to the business. And then you want to identify the risks and you want to mitigate them so that it won't impact the business. That was my way of thinking. We move on. What is the first step to create? The first step to create an internal culture that embraces information security is to implement stronger controls. No, this causes friction. Conduct periodic awareness training. Yes. Actively monitor operations. Gain endorsement from executive management. Well, you could argue Bravo or Delta, but culture should be steered from either steering committee or the board of directors. They shape the culture. Awareness training has something to do with information security, but not with an internal culture. An internal culture is as follows: when you, for instance, click on a phishing link and you report it, it will be embraced that you reported it, that you share this, and that you before the actual damage can take place. If you are being punished for reporting it, you will not report it, and therefore it goes unseen. This is punishing people for being open, And this doesn't, this type of culture, punishment culture, doesn't embrace information security, if you know what I mean. So I think it's D. That is correct? Yes, well, I've got that on screen. Endorsement from executive management in the form of policy approval provides intent, direction, and support. Okay, next. Which of the following factors is the most significant in determining an enterprise risk appetite? Organizational policies, overall security strategy, risk appetite. So a risk appetite is basically how much can a company handle in terms of risk, extent of threats, organizational policies, overall security, in organizational culture. I think it's also has to do with culture, so I think it's D. Okay, that's good. The extent to which the culture is risk averse or risk aggressive in the contents of the objective ability of the enterprise to recover from loss is the main factor in determining risk appetite. The threat environment is constantly changing. Yeah, policies. Okay. No, that was good. You can always pause this screen and read back. I think there's hundreds and hundreds of questions here and answers. So we'll be making a few videos in the upcoming weeks. A large software organization is experiencing high turnover rates among its employees, particularly on the software development team. The turnover is attributed to dissatisfaction with the leadership style of the department head, who has an authoritative approach. What action should the information security manager recommend to address this issue? So this also has to do with culture, right? Not a friend, but I'm above you, I'm more than you, and you will have to know. Terminated the department head to minimize further turnover. Organizational restructure, implement leadership training to help department head adapt their leadership style. This also has to do with culture. Terminate is a term they don't use in ISACA, so I think it's a leadership training program to help the department head to adapt their leadership style. That's what I think. And that is correct. The option acknowledges the issue of dissatisfaction with the leadership style and proposes a proactive solution by providing training to the department head. It aims to address the root cause of the turnover by helping the department head develop a leadership style that aligns better with the preference of the employees. Cheers. What is the best strategy to ensure success when expanding business in a new country or region? It has to do with culture again, huh? Focus on the culture and practices of the country where the headquarters is located. I think it's not correct. Okay, so it is D, and D is tailor organization practices to accommodate local norms and values. Okay, so you still have your own way of thinking, your own corporate culture, if you will, but you're definitely you basically moving into a new region that has different culture than you, so you have to tailor-made it. A globalized business environment, organizations should recognize and respect cultural diversity by embracing different cultural perspectives and adapting organizational practices to accommodate local norms and values. Organizations can foster inclusivity, enhance employee engagement, and effectively navigate cultural differences to thrive in diverse markets. So it's basically embracing the differences and respect it. So if you know there are cultural differences, but you still have a goal in mind that you should tailor it. Should tailor for that specific region. That's basically what he's saying. This also has something to do with company culture. And this only happens in global businesses. Continue. Information security program. I think A actually. No, okay. Cultures of different. C, still about cultures. Culture has a significant impact on how information security will be implemented. What works for Germany doesn't work for the United States or Brazil or Japan. Yeah, they have different cultures. Some of them are very hierarchical, others are not. The Netherlands is, for instance, not a very hierarchical country. Here you can really debate with your boss, even the CEO. You can just talk to him and say, I think differently because this and that. This is my suggestion. What do you think? That's not done in Germany, for instance. It's like we're neighboring countries, but totally different culture. There you can work for 30 years in one place and still call your manager sir, or only call him by his last name, for instance. It's different. Question 8. Which of the following recommendations is the best one to promote a positive information security governance culture within an enterprise? Strong oversight by the audit committee, organizational governance, transparency, collaboration across business line, positive ratings. Positive within maybe C. I'm not sure. That's right. Okay. To promote a positive governance culture, it is essential to establish collaboration between business lines. This will enable line management to speak a common language and share the same goals. Makes sense. Moving on. Which of the following choices will most influence how information security program will be designed and implemented? I would say business objectives actually, but since we're talking about company culture, I'll just go for B. Yeah, I see that's correct. B, the organizational culture generally influences risk appetite. So, are you willing to take more risk or you don't want to take any risk at all? That's culture. In addition to how issues are perceived and dealt with, and many other aspects that have significantly influence over how an information security program should be designed and implemented. Makes sense. And I said overall business objectives, that business objectives will determine the specific kinds of risk. Okay, you see that's more to the point, and in the Netherlands we're more to the point. So we talk about culture and stuff. I think that's more from the United States. We do have multinational companies here in the Netherlands. I think the leading culture, even within multinational companies that have a Dutch origin, is Dutch culture. At the same time, we adapt to external expats, for instance, and take them on board, and facilitate to their needs as well. But I think the dominant culture is Dutch. But that might be different in the United States. So B, culture. Moving on, we're halfway. Not sure. 20 minutes almost. Okay, so there will be long videos coming up. I don't mind. Which of the following is the most likely to change an enterprise culture to one that is more security conscious? So from openness to security conscience. Let's see, adequate security policies, procedures, periodic compliance reviews, security steering committees, security awareness campaigns. This is about the culture. So a steering committee is only a select group of people that are line managers that have responsibilities within information security. But an awareness campaign is steering culture. So I think it's D. one of these options, security awareness campaigns, are likely to be the most effective at improving security consciousness. Yes, and when you go to steering committees that have high-level management representation can affect security culture. Can affect. But they say the most effective is, so here most, this is the key word, and here also most effective is awareness. Okay. Which of the following is the greatest success factor for effectively managing information security? Greatest success factor. Senior level authority, adequate budget, robust technology, effective business relationship. I think the involvement of senior level, they carry out the culture. This is top down. Awareness is more bottom up, I would say. Yeah, I'll go for B. Of course, it's important to have sufficient budget, but it's more pushing down this awareness ID or the security ID top down, I would say. See, it's not correct. Effective business relationships. The support for information security from senior managers is essential, you see, for an effective security program. Business senior managers. I had senior level authority. Okay. This requires developing good relationships through the enterprise and particularly with influential managers. And you see, I was almost right, but just a little bit different. It's about influencing. Effective business relationships. Yeah, I see. Culture. Effective governance of the enterprise security is best ensured by using a bottom-up approach. Management by the IT department, referring the matter to enterprise legal department, using top-down approach. I would say bottom-up because it needs to be reported and then it needs to be escalated. When it's reported to the IT department, then it goes to this specialist, and he or she cannot make up his mind. They need to escalate to the steering committee. If the steering committee doesn't know what to do with it needs to be escalated to the CFO or CEO. So this is bottom up, and I think that's what I learned. And I didn't learn it right. Enterprise security governance may not be reflected effectively by a bottom-up approach as it will not bring focus to management priorities. Okay, that's the key word. Effective governance, so top-down. Okay, I thought it was the other way around. You see, guys, I think about the effectiveness being on the work floor, so to speak. They also need to know what to do. They need to report incidents. And then it goes to the people that are in charge of handling incidents, for instance, or risks or whatever it is, security related. And they escalate and escalate and escalate until, yeah. But it's top bottom, so top down approach. I wouldn't say that. Effective governance of enterprise security needs to be top-down initiative with the board and executive management setting clear policies, goals and objectives and providing for their ongoing monitoring. Yeah, but that still doesn't change the security culture, right? I mean, you can write nice policies, you can set goals and objectives within your own security bubble and everyone, a steering committee and everyone that's involved. But does that ensure the effective governance? Should read better. Effective governance. So this has nothing to do with, I'm still thinking about the last question, awareness. So this has to do with governance. Yeah, governance is always top down. Have to read better. Okay, which of the following will best ensure that management take over decision making, ownership? Steering committees. Because that's management, basically. If you are an HR manager, if you are an IT manager, the ISO or the CISO, They will all be part of the steering committee. If something goes wrong in the onboarding, offboarding procedure, personnel screening, then we have to look at an HR manager. If something goes wrong with endpoint protection, we are looking at an IT manager. And those people, all of those that are in management functions, they need to sit together regularly, once a month, every 2 weeks, depending on how many issues the company has, in a steering committee. And I think that's the best steering committee. Luckily for me, that is right. So I did learn something. Let me sip a coffee. Security steering committees provide a forum for management to express its opinion and take ownership in the decision-making process. All right. Which of the following actions would help to change an enterprise security culture? Procedures to enforce information security. Yes, obtain strong management support. Implement strict technical security, periodically audit with information. Yeah. I would go with this one. D. I mean, they're almost all right? But I think you write an information security policy, you set out your goals and your guidelines. This is the policy, and you do periodically audit it to see if what is written down still reflects the day-to-day business. And if not, we make some changes in the policies and make sure that we enforce that. That's what I would say. But it's not correct. It's B. Culture in an enterprise is a reflection of senior management vision and guidance. And only manager support and pressure will help to change an enterprise security culture. Obtain strong management support. So this is again top-down approach, I see. And this is how we learn, ladies and gentlemen, by doing these kind of questions, because this is actually the real body of knowledge. I have many course materials, this book as well. It's all very good and neat, but it's so much time and effort to read it, especially when after doing your job. So I'd rather just go to this Q&A, and while I go make these videos, which I like and which is a big plus for me, I will record them and give my my opinion on those. Anyway, we're moving on, close to half an hour already. That's long. But hey, even if it's 2 hours, if people are helped by it, if I can help people by it, you just have to. I'm mumbling too much. I recognize that. But yeah, let's just move on. So, culture in an enterprise is a reflection of senior management vision and guidance. The most basic requirement for an information security governance program is to be aligned with the corporate business strategy, be based on sound risk management approach, provide adequate regulatory compliance, provide good practice for security initiatives. Jesus. This is actually easy to say. I would say D. Just no. It has to be aligned with the business strategy. Yeah. Okay. To be effective and receive senior management support, an information security program must be aligned with the corporate business strategy. Continue. An enterprise board of directors had learned of recent legislation requiring enterprises within the industry to enact specific safeguards to protect confidential customer information. What actions should the board take next? So, okay. Yeah, just top down to nothing. Require management to report on compliance research. Now the board is not going to research direct information security on what actions to take. They don't know what actions to take. I think require management to report on compliance. I think so. It is correct. Nice. It's a little bit of overthinking, but actually this is the best answer out of all of them. And why is that? Information security governance is the responsibility of the board of directors and executive management. In this instance, the appropriate action would be to ensure that a plan was in place for implementation of needed safeguards and to require updates on that implementation. So this is again top to bottom. It is pushed towards management, and they have to report within their own business unit to see if they're compliant or not. And if they're not compliant, after that, there has to be a plan in place how to make sure that there are the proper safeguards in place, that they can implement it and what have you. Okay. Which of the following choices is the best indicator of the state of information security governance? Best indicator of the state of information security governance. A detailed maturity level of developed security policy, completed policies, and standard low number of incidents. Ooh, difficult. Best indicator of the state. A developed strategy, I would say. That you have a strategy in place. Not a low number of, B, I think. It's not maturity level, a defined maturity level. Defined maturity level is the best overall indicator of the state of information security governance. The maturity level indicates how mature a process is on the scale from 1 to 5. Indicates how mature the processes are. Yeah, this is process based. Okay. Yeah, I thought developed is an important first step, but it must be implemented properly to be effective by itself. It is not an indication of the state of information security governance. Okay, it is an important first step. Okay. This is the best overall indicator, a defined maturity level. And what I learned is that maturity level, risk appetite, all those kind of words, fancy words, that's what ISACA is referring to, and that's ISACA speak. And if it's in the answer, then it should be that answer. So I'm basically struggling a bit with the language, but it's okay. We'll get through it. Question 18 out of 20, so we're almost there when it comes to culture. Yes, an information security strategy presented to senior management for approval must incorporate, I think, business priorities. They don't care about what techniques you used. They don't really care about compliance because that's something for the CISO or the ISO himself. Business priorities or decent. I think priorities. Yeah, nice. Strategy is the high-level approach by which priorities and goals can be met. The information security strategy must incorporate the priorities of the business to be meaningful. Continue. Which of the following best describes the key objectives of an information security program? Which of the following best describe the key objectives of an information security program? I think ownership. So you have owners of the risk. Establish accountability. Yeah, the accountability comes with ownership. Achieved strategic business goals and objectives. I think A then. Nice. You see, these two were almost the same, and this is more high over. So I think, therefore, it has to be A. Okay, while the activities are primarily concerned with protection of the enterprise assets, The key objective is to support the achievement of the strategic business goals and objective. That's the key objective, to support the achievement of these strategic business goals. See, it's in the way of thinking and it's the way of language. I hope you understand what I'm saying now. And I'm in this field now for 4 years, both compliance and on the security side. So I have seen my fair share of things, but still, I don't get it right all the time. I really don't. Last question. A bank is implementing a new digital banking platform to enhance customer experience and streamline operations. New digital banking platform, okay? However, employees are resistant to change due to concerns about job security and technological competence, skills, and job security. Which of the following would best help the information security manager navigate this change? So here they're basically talking about friction within the organization, and he should take friction away. Create a policy mandating the adoption of a new platform and enforce compliance. No, this is too much friction. Offer financial incentives to employees. This sounds like bribing. Provide comprehensive training and support to help employees transition to the new platform. Hey, you have to. I think it's C. Offer a severance package to those. No. I think it's C. Yeah, and with this you make sure that it goes smooth and you reduce friction. So this option recognizes the challenges posed by cultural barriers to change, such as in concerns about job security and technological competence. It's still a thing, even today. By offering training and support, employees can develop the necessary skills and confidence to embrace the new platform, leading to smoother adoption and reduced resistance. This is about taking friction away. So continue. 55% correct. It's not really good. It's if you have 5.5 in the Netherlands, you just barely made it. So I still need to do some more studying. But this is the first video of CISM concerning the topic organizational culture. I hope it's useful for you, and if so, please like, share and subscribe. And we are gonna go through all of those questions, so more and more videos are to come. I hope you find them interesting, and yeah, let's study together. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.